was born in May of 1780. I enjoy being part of an independent nation separated from Britain, where we can make our own decisions and not have to go through the King of Britain. I grew up in an important time in U.S. history, during the Industrial Revolution. This time in history is really important because machines replaced hand tools. At the time, most of the things my mother and father made had to be done by hand, and they were always grouchy from late nights working on things to sell the next day. New sources of power helped these machines operate, like steam and electricity. With the money my mother and father had saved up, they bought a house and factory inside the city. We had a mill located right by the river, so that the current could keep the factory producing. The factory we owned was very expensive. My parents were known as capitalists. This is a person with capital or money that invests in a business and hopes to profit. My parents built their factory in 1990, the year the first factory was founded in the U.S., and 3 years before Samuel Slater and his wife improved the mills. The Constitution allowed Congress the power to promote science and useful arts. Our family thought of many ideas and new machines, but we had to keep them confidential, because there was nothing stopping other people from building the same thing. Later that year in 1990, Congress passed a bill called the Patent Act. This is a government authority or license conferring the right or title for a set period, especially the sole right to exclude others from making, using, or selling an invention. Britain kind of had the same thing. Manufacturer workers could not travel overseas in fear of the U.S. receiving factory designs. Samuel Slater was the man who showed this law could not be enforced. I remember this day very clearly. News got around a lot faster than in my parents' day, but it was still slow. Samuel Slater was rumored to have boarded a ship in 1889, and he knew he could not carry the plans because officials would catch him. Instead, he memorized each plan and used a fake name during travel. America was paying out a high bounty at the time for anyone who could successfully bring over plans for British manufacturing plants. Slater met a man, Moses Brown. He was a Quaker merchant. As the rumor said, he wanted to build the first American mill, and we all believe those two were the reason we are here today. The first American mill had 72 spindles that were all making cotton thread. It was a sight one had to see. The mills had tight places to fit in. This included ours. To save on money from our hefty investment, our parents made us help around the mill. Even though it was small, there was plenty of work to go around. I was the oldest at 13. My sister was 10 and brother was 7. At this time, we all worked in the mill, so my parents didn't have to pay others to do the work we could just as easily. I was the only one of the kids that could lift the boxes of thread when they needed to be changed. I left a little work up to the others. My parents had heard of a new mill that Francis Lowell and the Boston Associates built. It would take straight rock hunt from the field and be able to turn it into finished glass. Even though Lowell died in 1817, his memory lived on. The Boston Associates continued to build the mill and made a town, Lowell, Massachusetts. Our family got on 1 day a week, which was Sunday. Every other day, we worked for 12 hours or more. I dropped out of school to help my parents, and I never regretted it. I received good pay because I worked hard, and I knew when Mama and Papa passed on, I would own the mill for myself. Our little town grew larger and larger each day because of the Industrial Revolution. Our mill supersized our town.